All right, we got to talk about Nod Krai, chat. So Nod Krai has been out for just a little bit now, and we just passed the second phase banners with Flint's and Ino, and I figured now is probably a better time than ever to let you guys know my first impressions, my first thoughts of Nod Krai. Everything good, everything bad and ugly, all that good stuff, and spoiler alert, it's pretty freaking awesome. Nod Krai is definitely one of the most beautiful locations in all of Teyvat. I love the colors of Nod Krai. I love the purples, the blues, the kind of greens. It's definitely more of a gloomy place, but at the same time, it has a lot of charm and a lot of beauty to it. I mean, as I'm entering Nod Krai, I did what any sensible person would do, and I pulled out Farina and walked across the ocean to it. Like any sensible person, right? You guys did that, right? Anyways, yeah, as I'm entering Nod Krai, I'm met with the whales in the ocean, and that is such a cool addition that they added to Nod Krai. Actually have some sea life outside of Fontaine, and it was absolutely such a magical moment for me. I love sea creatures. I really do, and that was really cool to be able to see the whales up close and personal. And then we're making our way over to Hisi Island, you know, where everything is kind of purple. There's some pastels. There's just kind of this silver gleam on everything. And then you go over to Lempo Isle, where Nasha Town is, and it's all industrial. Everything's put together with these different pieces of scrap metal, but it still has this certain beauty to it all. And then of course there is Paha Isle, where the Fatui base is, and they certainly have invaded the territory of Nod Krai, and it definitely gives me like big Avatar vibes on like just this big machinery coming over and invading this space and just totally taking over. It is awesome, and the sights of Nod Krai are so breathtaking. I can't even put it into words like how amazing all these different scenic areas are in Nod Krai. All of the characters that came out in the Luna 1 patch for Nod Krai have been nothing short of amazing. I have loved every single character that Hoyo has released for this patch. We have Lauma, who's one of the Frostmoon Scions over on Hisi Island and kind of the head honcho over there. And then we have Flints. We have Kirill Chudamirovich Flints. I finally remembered that damn name, who is a very mysterious character in Luna 1, but he is one of the light keepers, keeping Nod Krai safe from the wild hunt. And then we have Ino, this little science robot nut girl. She absolutely loves creating all these robots, and she also created Inefa, who's another amazing character in Nod Krai. I mean, we have 4 amazing characters just right off the bat, and I do know that Inefa came out in 5.8, but she's a part of Nod Krai, so I'm gonna just kind of lump her in here. But all the characters, I never had any issue with any of them. Like, they were awesome. They were their own kind of individual personality, and their story, I felt, meant something to me when I was going through the story. Something that Hoyo brought over that I absolutely loved that they did in Natlan is they approached story quests for each of the characters in a very different fashion from before. Of course, before, you know, you do your dailies and then you build up this collection of keys and you can go and find whatever character, whatever 5-star you wanted, and you could unlock their quest. Well, in Natlan, they did what's called the Tribal Chronicles, and it was linked to the reputation rewards. And in Nod Krai, they took it just a little bit further, and they basically have the reputation rewards still surrounded by the characters, by the 5-star characters, and also 4-star, being I know there's one in her area as well. But they took their story quests and kind of broke it up a little bit. They took like the meat of the story quest and they incorporated it into the Archon quest for Nod Krai. And I think that was amazing because it really made me feel like the characters had a big role to play in the Archon quest, and it just had such great fluidity to it. Like, everything just flowed extremely well. And the Archon quest in Nod Krai, guys, it was absolute peak. And this Archon quest took me around 10 hours to get through. Of course, I was doing it on stream, so it took me a little bit longer, but this Archon Quest was absolute peak, guys. It was so good. They have really stepped up their game on the storytelling. And then, like I said earlier, bringing in the characters' story quests into the Archon Quest was such a great idea, because I feel that the quest, the whole Archon Quest, has so much meat, so much to give, and you didn't just feel like, okay, well, I'll go over here and talk to this person, and okay, I'll go over here and talk to this person. No, the storytelling has certainly been upped, and I'm gonna do my absolute best not to get into any kind of spoilers or anything in this video. So if I do like very lightly brush on something, I do apologize. But dude, the fight sequences in the Krai Archon Quest were, well, they were so freaking good. And Flint's, you know, going up against the opposing force was just so good. It was complete cinema. It was so good. They have done such a good job on their cutscenes compared to old Genshin, which are still really great cutscenes, but man, the budget in these cutscenes are crazy. It is insane. And out of all the amazing characters that came out in Luna 1, there is one character that I've been waiting for a very, very long time to finally make her debut into the story, and that is Sandrone, the Fatui Harbinger. And apparently I've been saying her name wrong this entire time. My whole Genshin career, I've been saying Sandrone, and really it's Sandrone. It's going to take me just a little bit to get used to that one. But yes, Sandrone, and she played such a massive part in the Luna 1 Archon quests, and I absolutely loved it. She is such a brat, and she is everything that I ever wanted out of the marionette. And of course, how can I mention the Archon quest in Krai without even talking about Columbina? And Columbina in the story is extremely different than I ever expected her to be. I expected her to be at our throats for everything with Signora, but it was certainly not the case. I'm not going to get too much into it, but Columbina is certainly a very mysterious character, and I cannot wait to see how her character grows throughout the Krai Archon quests that are to come. And I mentioned earlier how the character quests were linked also to the reputation rewards, and I think Hoyo did an amazing job on the reputation stuff in Krai. So on each of the 3 islands, on Hisi Island, on Lempo Island, and also on Paha Island, there is a location for each of the characters that have been coming out in Luna 1 to where you can level up your treasure compass using the reputation rewards, and you also get a bunch of extra story on top of it. And the story is voiced, which is really, really cool. So on the treasure compass, I love what they did, and originally I was a little bit nervous about it because I am a exploration fiend and I don't want my hand held all the time when I'm exploring. I like to be able to kind of witness things myself, but you have these different tiered levels on the treasure compass, and the maximum level is where it will show you everything on the map. It will show you chests, Lunoculus, it will show you challenges, things like that, and also it'll show you the free Mora chests as well, which I find is really, really cool. But the reason I was nervous about it is, yes, I didn't want my hand held the entire time, but you will not get the highest maximum level of the treasure compass until you are at least at 90% exploration in the area. And I think that was really cool because that gave me the chance to still wander around and explore all the different areas myself. And then once I reach 90%, then it's like, okay, let's go ahead and level up the treasure compass and let's actually go out and find everything. And I was able to 100% every area in Krai. As I was wandering around and exploring Krai on these first 3 islands that we have, I really was able to just take in the whole landscape, and I really realized like they put a lot into Krai. I mean, yes, they are islands, so they can kind of be a little bit of smaller areas, but every little square inch of Krai, I feel that they put a lot of thought into, because there's a lot to see here, guys. They put a ton into these maps, and the OST, oh, the music was so freaking good all over the place. They have music for the evening, music for the day, music for the certain areas, and a lot of it just like gave me complete goosebumps as I was wandering around. So Hoyo absolutely did a great job. And also the wildlife in Nod Krai is so extremely unique, and I love the wildlife designs that they have, you know, with like the rhino, there's the different deer, there's the badgers out there. It was really, really cool. And also with that wildlife, being able to interact with them with Lauma was a really cool thing. And it was cool because like you're just running around, all of a sudden the badgers come up and they throw raw meat at you, or you go up to the little baby rhinos and they break open the crystals for you. It's just a really cool addition there. And then of course with Flints and the wild hunt, you can go up to the wild hunt with Flints and you can actually understand what they're saying, other than any other character when you walk up and it's just a bunch of monster noises. But it's really cool. All the different things that Hoyo thought of to add into the exploration was amazing. Much like the phlogiston that we had in Natland, in Nod Krai, we have a new type of power system to help us kind of get through some of the puzzles and different things like that, and that is Kuvaki. And Kuvaki is extremely interesting. So I like to think of it as kind of like a positive and a negative charge, almost like a magnet, like a push and pull type of thing. You have the blue Kuvaki, you have the red Kuvaki, one of them pulls you in, one of them pushes. And the puzzles in Nod Krai, as I was walking around trying to 100% everything, they made me actually think, and they weren't like too hard of puzzles, but they weren't also pushover puzzles. And I can absolutely appreciate that, because some of the nations you're like, oh yeah, I know exactly how to do this. And this time I got in there and it was actually kind of a little bit of a challenge where it's like, okay, let me think about how to do this. It was kind of cool, especially with like the mirror puzzles on Hisi Island. Yeah, those ones definitely made me think, for sure. And one of the things that I had kind of a hard time on with the Kuvaki was sometimes I had to have the camera angle in like just the perfect position for it to even grab onto for me to hit T and to interact with it. But that's really the only thing that I have to complain about with the Kuvaki. But I think it was a really cool and interesting system, for sure. And I know it really just sounds like I'm sitting here glazing up Nod Krai, but really, I cannot think of anything truly bad to say about Nod Krai. It is everything that I ever wanted out of it and more. And what I really like about Nod Krai is we are getting into a pretty dark area of Genshin. And I know Genshin kind of always has this underlying tone of dark, and Genshin can get dark, but in Nod Krai, it's kind of everywhere. It's very gloomy. Like you go and you do the reputation quest with Flints, and he's talking about all the death and everything on the island. It's like, whoa, that is incredibly dark. Also, I mean, the Wild Hunt, just look at the Wild Hunt. They're missing their heads, bro. That is crazy. But no, Nod Krai has been fantastic. I love the characters, the character designs, the OST, the whole landscape of Nod Krai, the story. It's all freaking awesome, guys. And I feel that we are just on the tip of the iceberg. Like the Archon quests that are to come and the expansions that are to come, I think are just going to be so absolutely massive and full of amazing lore. Like the lore drops, they are getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and I think it's going to continue to get bigger and bigger and bigger in the future versions of Nod Krai. Anyways, guys, that is my first impressions and first thoughts of Nod Krai and all of Luna 1. Let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comments below. I just cannot wait to see what Genshin has in store for us on some future updates. It's gonna be freaking good. Anyways, if you guys would like to catch me live, I now stream on Twitch and YouTube on Sundays, Mondays, and Fridays at 7 p.m. Mountain State Time. Also, make sure to join our Discord server. I will have a link for everything down in the description below. And with that being said, I am Voodoo Plague, and I will see you guys in the next one.